McDonald's is one of the biggest brands in the food industry. It employs over 2.5 million people around the world, making it the fourth largest employer. It has over 38,000 restaurants. It serves more than 70 million customers daily. It sells around 12 million pounds of fries every day, 80 hamburgers every minute, and 1 billion Big Macs every year. And apart from this, the average wait time is around 5 minutes, and they provide the same taste and quality in almost all of their stores. Now, keeping these things in mind, the questions that arise is, how is McDonald's able to deliver at this scale consistently for all these years? What is the secret to their supply chain, and what can we learn from them so that we can apply the same to our businesses? Now, in order to answer these questions, we first have to understand what vertical integration is. Vertical integration of the supply chain involves the acquisition of a key component of the supply chain for which the company had previously contracted for. So in other words, to give you guys an example, a supply chain consists of raw material suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and retailers. In case of vertical integration, the acquisition happens either in the forward direction, wherein a manufacturer acquires a distributor, or in the backward direction, wherein a distributor acquires a manufacturer. There's also a horizontal integration wherein a company acquires another company at the same stage of the supply chain. In case of McDonald's, it has effectively utilized vertical integration and it outsources almost all of its supply needs. In India, this comes from a total of 40 suppliers, out of which 14 are tier 1 suppliers who supply directly to the fast food chain. Now, a lot of companies have utilized this model, but what makes McDonald's special? One of the key reasons why McDonald's has succeeded is because of their vested interest model. The McDonald's philosophy is based on the three-legged stool approach designed by Ray Kroc, one of the founders of McDonald's. This model specifies that in order to have a winning strategy, the three legs of the stool must work together and is a partner of success and equally important. Even if one of the legs collapses, the stool, that is McDonald's, collapses. The three legs are the employees, the franchise owners, and the trusted suppliers. But now comes the tough part. How do you actually have this philosophy ingrained deeply into the system? And to do this, the team at McDonald's follows something called as the what's in it for we approach. And this acts as the backbone to the entire system at McDonald's. The idea is to create value to everyone involved in the process in order to achieve the smooth flow of operations. This, my friends, is the secret sauce to the McDonald's success recipe. And this is defined by 5 simple rules envisioned by Ray Kroc and is still in use today. These rules are: rule number 1, focus on outcomes and not transactions. So what McDonald's does is, instead of negotiating with suppliers on the basis of RFPs and in search of better prices, they focus more on building long-term relationships that will eventually help both the parties involved reach their business goals. Rule number 2, focus on what, not the how. This simply means trust your suppliers to deliver the quality, service, cleanliness, and value standards that have been set. McDonald's does not micromanage its suppliers. Rule number 3, agree on clearly defined and measurable outcomes. McDonald's has a very clearly defined performance measure system, which is called the Supplier Performance Index. This helps McDonald's and its suppliers assess their level of success. Rule number 4, the pricing model. This rule is the simplest and the most important one. What this rule means is that the pricing should be such that everyone involved makes money. If you guys want to know more information about how McDonald's does this, I've attached the resources below in the description. And finally, come to the last rule, gone for insight and not oversight. So what McDonald's does is it establishes a peer-to-peer relationship with its suppliers, and it is always there to provide them with insights, and it does not micromanage them in any which way. And to add to this, Ray Kroc wrote, "The basis for our entire business is that we are ethical, truthful, and dependable. It takes time to build reputation. We are business people with a solid, permanent, constructive, ethical program that will be in style years from now even more than it is today." And while Ray Kroc is long gone, his ideas and principles have stood the test of time, and that is the reason why McDonald's is successful today. And now coming to the last and the most important part of the video, what are some of the lessons that we can learn from this case study? Lesson number 1. It is important to value all the stakeholders in the business and to have them believe in your vision. And this happens only when you empower all the stakeholders and when you treat them as equals, keeping their success also in mind. Because business is a team sport and not an individual one. Lesson number 2. Sometimes or most times, complex problems do not require complex solutions. Since all businesses are run by humans, if we can deal with problems with a more human approach, we would be doing a lot better and we would eventually build an organization that would survive for a long period of time.